Hey everyone, welcome to another Codex review. As always, my name is Jay. It's pretty dark in here. Maybe I should get some more lighting. I'll upgrade it eventually. But that's of course not the important part. Today is another Codex review, people. It's been so long. I don't even remember the last time I did a Codex review. Today I'm doing a Codex review on the new Deathwatch Codex that came out this weekend. And of course, I have my trusty Codex with me, and I have my trusty Space Marine Codex, as I'd like to compare the two, obviously, since it is a faction of Space Marines. I'm not going to do like a direct comparison, which one's better. Each of them have their pros and cons, but just comparison points wise, for example, and the benefits of why you take Deathwatch over Space Marines and vice versa. In this video, I'm going to be going over my first impressions, the Deathwatch Detachment, some of the special rules, and a couple things like that. So, my first impressions. It's a really interesting codex. Now, Deathwatch are kind of the elite of the elite. They're the super Xenos killer dudes. And so the cool thing about being a Deathwatch player is you can kind of take models from all the other factions of Space Marines and add a couple Deathwatch items to them, like keep the shoulder pads maybe the same as the original faction, and you got a cool Deathwatch team since they represent a bunch of other factions, right? They're the best of the best. And that is really cool. What do we think of the Codex? It is actually interesting. They have their own detachment, their own special rules. They have something called mission tactics, which basically mission tactics is a special rule, is at the beginning of the game, you can dictate a type of the force organization chart of your opponents. For example, troops is the default, basically. You can do troops, elite, heavy, support, fast attack, or HQ. And you get to reroll ones to hit against that particular target. Now, taking into consideration that these guys are Space Marines and they hit on threes, reroll ones is pretty nice. It's like Bolter Drill, but you can actually take into effect a lot of better weapons, right? Reroll ones. That's pretty nice. Plus, some of the detachments give you reroll ones to wound, and you can actually, certain people or items in this codex give you the ability to change the rules. I think you can change your mission tactics once throughout the game normally, so you can start off by saying like troops, and then change it accordingly throughout the game, like one time throughout the game, but there is an HQ and another formation that allows you to change it multiple times. You can do it up to like 4 times. You can change which force organization chart do you want to be specialized against, which is pretty nice. So early in the game, if you notice your opponent has a lot of troops, you can basically choose troops and blow them out of the water. Then once you really want to eliminate that HQ or heavy support choice, choose that. So that's really cool. So now, the Deathwatch overall, I think it's interesting. The big differences between this codex, obviously, and the Space Marine Codex: A, you take veterans as troops. B, they have a couple, like an HQ that's different. Now, most of their points-wise costs are more expensive. Pretty much everything is more expensive, if not the same. Like the same for all the vehicles, more expensive for pretty much everything else. The Terminators are more expensive. The HQs are more expensive by about 5 points. The Terminators are more expensive by about 10 points, depending on which one. Now, they do come with some special rules, like a lot of guys come with special issue bullets, which allow you to choose your type of bullet to knock out certain opponents. And so more expensive. But the cool thing is that this is a really fun army in the sense that you can take a lot of the things as solos. You can take a Terminator as a solo model, right? The min squad size for a Terminator squad is 1. The min squad size for a couple other things is 1. So that's really cool. You actually can do that, and that's a huge difference between this codex and the Space Marine Codex. Unfortunately, you can only take dreadnoughts as ones. You can't take squadrons of dreadnoughts, and let me double check, because I'm pretty sure you also can't take squadrons of the vehicles. No, you can't. So you can't take squadrons of the vehicles either. So that's unfortunate. But so it's an interesting codex. As I said, it has some cool rules. Will it be the best? I don't know. Probably not, but it does have some really cool rules. I think it's going to be a competitive codex for sure, and I think there's going to be a lot of fun. Plus, you get to play veterans as troops. Veterans are the troops' choice, so that's amazing having vets as troops, right? So let's go over this. The forces of the Deathwatch. Now, choosing the Deathwatch detachment is called the Black Spear Strike Force. The Black Spear Strike Force. Now, I'll be going over some of these formations in future videos. But so basically, once again, you have to take one core, at least one auxiliary, and at least one command, 1 to 3 commands. Yes. Now the command benefits of taking this detachment are obviously you can reroll the result of the Deathwatch Warlord traits, which I'll be going over in the Warlord video. And you get flexible mission tactics. Now this is what I was talking about. If your army contains one or more Black Spear Strike Force, you can change the army's mission tactic one extra time during a mission. Usually this will allow you to change the mission tactic twice during the game rather than once. But if your Warlord is a Witchmaster, which I'll be going over in a future video, or has the Vigilance Incarnate Warlord trait, you will be able to change your mission tactics up to 3 or 4 times. That's what I was saying. So that's pretty cool stuff. As again, you can change your Warlord tactics, which I'll be going over after this. The mission tactics. And sudden onslaught, all non-vehicle models in the Black Spear Strike Force have deep strike. That's cool. That's very cool to have your entire army that's not a vehicle deep striking. Terminators deep striking, awesome, right? You can get your guys. What I think would be really cool is in a game is like if you have a bunch of like solo Terminator squads, you just deep strike them around the table where you need them and hide them. Like you could use that, you know, to drop them where you need them throughout the game, especially in a game that involves tactical objectives. Would be really handy, really handy. So the core choice of this army, now the core choice is a kill team, right? Which is just simply a unit of veterans. Pretty cool. The other one is an Aquila kill team, which is a unit of veterans and at least one choice of the following list: librarians, terminators, vanguard veterans, or bikers. So you need one veteran squad and at least one choice of one of those other 4. And those are your core choices. Well, there's a bunch of other core choices. And the thing is, within the kill teams themselves, there's a bunch of different kill teams you could take. There's the Führer kill team, which is unit of veterans, unit of terminators, and any number of the choices of the following: librarian, vanguard veterans, bikers. There's the Venator kill team, 1 unit of veterans, 1 unit of bikers, any unit number of choices: librarian, terminator, vanguard veterans. There's the Malleus kill team, which is a unit of veterans, unit of terminators, any number of the following choices: librarian, vanguard veterans, or bikers. So they're pretty similar. Dominatus kill team, unit of veterans, unit of vanguard veterans, and any number of choices from the following list: librarian, terminators, bikers. Brigadis kill team, unit of veterans, librarian, unit of terminators, and then any number of choices: librarian, vanguard, veterans, or bikers. So those are the 3, as I said, you have tons of core choice options, but pretty much are all veterans, right? Which makes sense. For your for your command choices, you have the Watch Commander, which is one of the following: a Watchmaster, which I'll be going over that in the HQ video, a Watch Captain, or a Chaplain, so you choose one of those, or a Librarian, a Dreadnought, or a Venerable Dreadnought. Now, as I said, the problems with the Dreadnoughts in this codex is that they can't be taken in squadrons like the Space Marines, or the Dark Angels. So you can take 1 to 3 of those. And then there's the Auxiliary, which is like a dropship, which is the Corvus Blackstar, the new flyer. An Ancient, which is a Dreadnought or Venerable Dreadnought. There's the Armor, which is a Land Raider, Redeemer, or Land Raider Crusader. Dropship Wing, which is 3 Corvus Blackstars. I'll go over that rule later. So those are that. And as I said, the benefits are you get the mission tactics. Now let's go over the mission tactics because they're interesting and they're cool and new, and yeah. So other special rules, which I'll be going over in just a sec, is obviously some of them have a rule called Atonement through Honor. Now it's usually the sergeant in the squad has this, but a model with a special rule doubles its attacks in the assault phase if it is locked in combat with an independent character, a monster creature, or a vehicle, or if the combat it is in contains more enemy models than friendly ones. Count all models locked in the combat, not just the ones engaged with this model. Cool stuff. So doubles attacks. That's great. Like you can get like 6 attacks. That's pretty nuts. Combat squads, obviously, and they can ally with any force of the Imperium. And they also have warlord traits. But as I said, the cool thing is about mission tactics. Now each one has a cool name, but essentially it's just choose a force organization chart slot. Right? There's Führer tactics. Let's see, is there a default one? No. So Führer tactics is troops. Venator tactics, you reroll 1s to hit against fast attack. Dominatus is elite. Malleus is heavy. Purgatus is HQ. Cool stuff. So that's about it. They also have some cool war gear, which I'll be going over in future videos. The warlord traits are interesting. Let's go over the warlord. No, actually, you know what? I'll go over the warlord traits in the warlord video, in the HQ video, because they're the most likely ones to have it. So that's my first impressions. I think it's really cool. I've gone over actually, you know what, let's go over the relics. Let's go over the relics as well. So there's Bane Bolts of Erixia, which a model that is equipped with Bane Bolts of Erixia can use the following special issue ammunition in addition to any other types it can normally use. So again, I'll be going over that in a future video. But it has bolt pistol, sorry, for a normal bolt gun, it has an Assault 1 kill shot, which is if the Assault 1 kill shot, so if the to wound roll for an attack in this weapon is 6, it's instant death. Cool. The Beacon of Angelus. Friendly units do not scatter when they deep strike, so long as the first model is placed within 6 inches of the model wearing the Beacon Angelus. In addition, once per game at the start of any friendly movement phase, the bearer can use his Beacon Angelus to teleport his comrades to his position. Awesome. When he does so, remove one friendly unit that has the Deathwatch faction from the board. Even as locked in combat, they can immediately arrive within 6 inches of the bearer using the deep strike special rule, and they don't scatter. So you can basically like, hey guys over there, bloop, here. Fun tactic. Dominus Aegis. If a model with this Dominus Aegis does not move in the movement phase, it gains a 4+ invulnerable save until the start of the next movement phase. Cool. The Osseous Key. The Osseous Key is a clavis. In addition, if a model equipped with the Osseous Key attacks a vehicle or building in the assault phase, roll a dice after all its attacks have been resolved to determine the effects. 1, no effect. 2 to 3, suffers a glancing hit. 4 to 6, penetrating hit. It's wow, that's amazing. So it's like, that's pretty nice, right? Let's take a look at what a clavius is. A clavius is, subtract 1, and also subtract 1 from the weapon skill, ballistic skill, and initiative characteristics of any enemy vehicles within 6 inches of the model wearing the clavius. So that's cool. So there's some cool rules already. You can see that where the fun in this codex lies already. So let's go back to the relics. So cool stuff so far. Cool stuff so far. Thief of Secrets is range dash, strength user, AP3, melee, biophage. Whenever a model inflicts an unsaved wound with this Thief of Secrets, the weapon learns the weakness of the model's unit and other units of the same type. For example, if it wounds a Carnifex, it learns the weakness of all Carnifexes. Any future attacks made using the Thief of Secrets against the units whose weaknesses are known, it will successfully wound on a to wound roll of 2 up. This lasts until the end of the battle. That's amazing against armies that like to spam units and against high toughness things. So if you are able to wound like a Wraith Knight, you wound Wraith Knights from then on 2 ups. Pretty cool stuff. And finally, the Tome of Ectoclads. At the start of each of your turns, you can pick one of the mission tactics listed on page 103, which I just went over. Until the start of your next turn, this tactic applied to the model carrying the Tome of Ectoclads and all of the models in its unit, and have the Deathwatch faction. This is in addition to the benefits of the other mission tactics that you may currently be active. So there you go. You can choose a squad. So let's say you decide to pick on the troops, but then you have a squad, you can give them like the elites, and they have the elites and troops. Amazing. Very cool stuff so far. So I'm going to keep going over this codex in some detail. Next video I'm going to be going over the warlord traits and the HQs. Now there's only a couple HQs, but it's all good. And I think it's a very interesting codex. There are some cool combinations, and what I really like, as I said, the ability to take like a Terminator as a solo. I loved that when I was playing Grey Knights back in the old codex. And what else was really cool? You can take Terminators, you can take, I think you can take Bikers and Vanguard veterans as well. Yeah, you can. You can take a Biker as a solo and a Vanguard veteran as a solo. So that's pretty cool. Cool stuff. So thank you as always for watching this codex review. I really hope you enjoyed it. Stay tuned for more parts. I'm going to be going into some great detail. Leave comments in the comment section down below of what you think about the Deathwatch book. Do you think it's cool? I think it's really nice. As I said, things are a little bit more expensive, but I think it's going to be a lot of fun to play this codex. For sure. Plus, it's a really cool themed codex. So, stay tuned for more videos. Thank you for watching. Leave comments in the comment section below what you thought. And until next time, this is Jay saying, happy painting.